All right, we're live. Let's see. How far into that Punisher did you get, Vince?
I think I got to the first arc where he killed his buddy. I got to the second arc where I think it was the one where he kills all the Irish people.
I'm only like the first episode of the second arc, so.
Is that the Irish one or is that the Italian one? Because I'm just watching as he kills different ethnic groups, and then he kills the black Irish people.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like him. So I'm going to try to get a little bit farther before we talk about it next week, but I'm honestly not that impressed with it.
It'll get repetitive real fast. I'm just putting it like bluntly, man.
Yeah, it's definitely not something you'd really want. I'm definitely not reading the whole 85 issues or whatever it is. That'd be... we can pretty much guess what happens in the rest of them. It's very much it's like a procedural TV show. It's very much the same every week.
Yeah, I would say so. Definitely.
All right. We'll talk about that next week, whether Ricky's here or not. We put it off long enough. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Untitled Show for the week of May 11th, 2016. I'm your host, Matthew Weber. We've been off for several weeks. We were all very... First of all, I'm joined by Mr. Vincent Hoy.
Hey, what's up?
Professor Extraordinaire. If you follow him on Twitter, like last week and week before, he was posting some amazing pictures. If you're into architecture,
yeah, that's pretty much it.
I mean, if you're into porn, not so much.
I'm sorry to disappoint.
Yeah. Anyways, so we were supposed to be doing the Punisher tonight, but we're kind of procrastinating on that. Because nobody's really all that impressed with it. But we will cover that next week. A lot of times when Ricky plays hooky, Vince and I tend to scrap original plans and geek out over upcoming video games and movies, and that's what we're going to do tonight.
Talk about music soundtracks. I mean,
well, yeah. The problem is,
nothing spectacular coming through.
Yeah, all we talk about is John Williams, anyways. Because that's.
I don't know. Hans Zimmer comes up, and then you get the Howard Shore.
Who did the Batman versus Superman soundtrack?
Crap. I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure. It wasn't Zimmer, was it?
Well, you could. So it would be confusing, right? Because Hans Zimmer did the last 3 Batmans, and Danny Elfman did Superman. Yeah. So we're going to find.
Elfman did the Superman?
I think so. Let's look.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. It sounded like it was your typical action movie beats. Did you actually watch the movie?
Hans Zimmer. No. The reason why I asked is because we're going to be watching it in a couple weeks. That's Ricky's next pick.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I watched it. You know what? Everyone panned it. I didn't think it was terrible. I didn't think it was great, but it got killed in the ratings and reviews, and I was just surprised at how bad it got.
I think that Ben Affleck has a lot of enemies in the critic arena. Because a lot of his movies get slammed, even though a lot of his movies aren't terrible. I'm not a big Ben Affleck fan, but...
yeah, I know.
All right, anyways, so we've done our obligatory Googling for the show. Anyway, so let's start with movies, mainly because I have the list of video games is like, I don't know. I have a list of video games here that's has 10,000 video games for the upcoming year, and it's just...
Seriously? I just got... what do you want to start? You want to start with video games then? Because
which would you rather start with, Vince? It doesn't matter.
I know we can go on end about movies, so we might as well start.
Let's start with video games because I have no clue what the hell's going on in video games. So why don't you tell me a few of them that you're looking forward to?
Well, actually, I'm talking about more the closer to home things because I actually just got delivered to me the Uncharted 4, and I haven't played it yet. Obviously, I'm too damn busy, but it got 10. It got ratings of perfect game scores, and I find that hard to believe because I actually saw the screenshots of it, and I was like, yeah, it looks okay, but it doesn't look that great. I've seen better graphics in the Skyrim, and certainly in some of the what's the first person shooting game that everyone loves. That's like crap. Anyways, there's a whole bunch of better graphics. So I was really surprised at how people are like gushing over. I'm not sure if it just happens to be because maybe it's conclusive and it's the end game, but that seems to be
Uncharted has never been known for fantastic graphics, really. I mean, it's never been. That's always been a little.
When it came out when Uncharted 3 came out for PS3 or PS4, I don't remember. But everyone made a big deal of it because it looked really damn good. And
it looked good, but it was. I don't think it was ever. I mean, in my opinion, it was never top line. For me, what always drew me to Uncharted was the story, right?
Oh, of course.
Right. So I mean, that's the reason why I was always looking for the next one. But that's also the reason why I kind of got bored with it, because I mean, not only because they pulled a Dan Brown and had disposable female characters, but
that's what happened twice. And he marries the one, apparently, the blonde one, apparently.
Oh, really? Yeah. All right. But anyways, but I mean, the story was towards the third one was a little bit repetitive. Now I think there's the one that I have for Vita. It's called like Golden Abyss or something like that. Yeah. That's really good. I really enjoyed that one. Not necessarily because it was so different from the ones that came for console, but just because I don't know. Maybe it was the uniqueness or whatever of being able to play Uncharted while I was waiting for the bus or whatever. Maybe it could have just been some brain function. So you haven't had a chance to play that yet, Vince, right?
Nope, not yet. But I mean, I'm a big fan of that kind of game. I mean, it breaks the monotony. Like, I really haven't gone hardcore through a game since Metal Gear 5. I've been dabbling with Witcher, but I can't really commit myself to it because it's just such an epic story that it's one of those games where you just go back and you're like, I don't even know what I was supposed to do. So just like spend an hour trying to find yourself and then go, okay, I'll play, and then I fall asleep. In any event, I'm looking forward to playing the certainly Uncharted. Again, I'm talking about more immediate games because I was so this close to actually buying Street Fighter V, but then I'm waiting maybe for the end Game of the Year edition or whatever or not Game of the Year, but year-end edition because I want to see all the characters. Like, they just announced a whole bunch of the new characters for Street Fighter V, and I don't believe them. So I'm just going to wait until like maybe Christmas or something when they come out with the full roster. But I definitely look forward to playing that game. The animations look so damn smooth, and I'm an old school guy that played Street Fighter back in the day, so looking forward to that. But you know what? I'm not sure if you ever watched some game trailers, but a couple of the ones that I'm looking forward to that are in the summer and at the end of the summer. Certainly, I'm a big fan of RPGs, so Final Fantasy 15 is coming out. Quite frankly, I'm actually looking forward to seeing how that pans out. It's less about medieval kind of fantasy era, and it's like guys with swords and magic, but also like they drive cars and stuff. So kind of interesting seeing that. Certainly the what was the other game that what was it? I'm not sure if you saw the trailer for Overwatch.
Oh, the Blizzard.
Is it Blizzard?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's like there's this girl that has like this big ski mask or something on.
Yeah, that's from Blizzard Entertainment. The same guy who does Hearthstone. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Because that actually looks really cool, like in terms of gameplay. Because to me, the graphics are good and it looks like it could be fast action. But I like the nuances of changing up the gameplay, where like you can travel back and forth. Like if you mess up, you can replay and go back and forth and do stuff like that. That's kind of cool to me. And quite frankly, that's pretty much it. I mean, I know that there's going to be another Call of Duty. I know there's going to be another Mass Effect. There's going to be probably another. I think there's going to be another Battlefield. But I mean, those are all.
Battlefield that they just announced is called Battlefield 1. It's They're going back to World War I.
That's going to suck because you're going to have like all 2 guns to pick. Like,
well, yeah. It's going to be.
Battlefield, no, World War I, because World War I, you got to keep in mind, and you know this because you're a historian.
Right.
World War I was when people still had cavalry on like horses, like horseback fighting, like with swords and stuff.
Well, yeah, because you got to remember that machine guns were huge. They had to be like truck mounted at that time. So they were still around. Aircraft warfare was just getting started.
Mm-hmm.
So it was around, but it was nothing. It was nothing in compared to what happened in World War II, and it was World War I. It kind of marks the transition because obviously that was the longer of the world wars. So at the beginning of it, the technology wasn't was still very much swords. I mean, not really swords, but I mean bayonets and muskets and stuff like that. But towards the end of it, because of they had to ramp up technology, and stuff like that. Towards the end of it, you're seeing more of the machine guns, even though they're still big. A lot more planes and stuff like that. So yeah, it's I don't know. There was a lot of
Dude, planes were like Red Baron back then. I mean, it wasn't exactly like floating like armadas or anything. It was straight up, just regular like one-on-one Red Baron, shooting down one plane at a time, right?
Yeah. It was. I mean, if they were to drop bombs, they were literally dropping bombs.
No, from planes, did they drop a lot of bombs?
Well, towards the end of it, yeah, there was some bombs. But like I said at the beginning, it was very much a whole bunch of guys in trenches with one shot, one load, rifles, with bayonets on the end of it, going at each other, right? So I mean,
I remember in history, like the most innovative, well, not innovative, but the saddest mass. It was like the first time they had mass weapons of mass destruction, like poison gases, right? Like stuff. So, anyways, I don't know. We'll see how Battlefield. You said it was called Battlefield 1.
Battlefield 1, yeah.
So we'll see how that comes out. But I mean, I think we're gonna just looking at the roster of games that are coming out. It's going to be hard to find new IPs. Like that's the reason why I'm looking at that Blizzard game, the Overwatch game that you're talking about, because to me that becomes something interesting. It's a new mechanic. It's also a new IP. Whereas like everything else, like everything from sequels to Kingdom Hearts to Zelda to like Street Fighter, all those things are all sequels, right? And the same thing you see in movies, right? Like there's what was it? We did this discussion earlier where it was like if you look at all the movies that are raking in all the money, the top movies of 2012 to 2015, like what 80% of them were sequels, or based on other IP that existed, right? Or like some books or something. There's nothing new anymore, and I think that's what we're facing with video games because video games like movies take a lot of resources, and the companies aren't stupid. They don't want to waste money on that stuff. So, I look forward to a lot of cool games, but at the same time, it's disappointing that there's not anything really new that's catching my eye.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Now you also got to remember that the type of gaming that I play now has changed a lot in the last 10 years since I've started doing a lot of different work.
Yep.
Because my Xbox hasn't been turned on in a year and a half. I mean, it literally has a inch of dust on it. So it doesn't even work anymore. I'm a mobile gamer and PC gamer now, Vince. I mean, obviously Hearthstone. Hearthstone just came out with a new expansion again. And frankly, they're ramping those expansions up so fast that it's becoming very hard for people who aren't pay to win. I mean, if you're free to play, it's very hard to keep up because you have to actually play a lot in order to get all the cards. Whereas people who want to go through and spend $350 on the new expansion can get all the cards. So, and I'm just say that again.
Just grind your levels.
Yeah, you just go through and you play over and over again. That's how you get gold. Because for every 3 games, you get 10 gold. If you play an arena, depending on how many games you win, you get gold and dust and stuff like that. So I mean, well, I still really, really enjoy the game. It's just it's really hard to. And they'll have an adventure coming out this year that I'll play. Especially now that they've gone through and they almost, if you want the cards that come from the adventure, you almost have to play it because eventually the adventure is just going to go away. Then you just can't get those cards ever again. So that's kind of sucks. I'm looking forward to Overwatch 2. Mainly because I'll be able to play it on the PC, and I've watched some of the beta play, and it looks really good if you're into shooters. So I mean, it looks really good. I mean, the graphics, of course, are really great. There was another one. Now I don't know if you remember. We actually were doing the podcast when the last game of this series came out. You remember when I talked about Mafia 2?
Yep.
Now I love the original, but wasn't so happy about the second one because it was all cutscenes.
Yep.
And they're coming out with a third one.
Mm-hmm.
Movie? Well, no. I'm just interesting to see if the third video game, Mafia 3, is going to be as bad in the cutscenes as it was the second one.
Well,
of
you
course,
know, again, I don't play the Mafia game series, but from what I understand and what you described earlier, there is a story, and I don't mind it. Like, I mean, I play Metal Gear, and Metal Gear, it's like pretty much everyone bitches about it being like all cutscenes, but you know what? It advances the story. You can do a lot of stuff in the gameplay, so it's open world. I don't have a problem with that. 5 minutes of that whole 5 minutes of cutscenes. That's not a problem for me.
well, no, all right. So Mafia 2 was really bad because basically a lot of the action scenes were actually just cutscenes, because they didn't trust you to do the stuff or direct the story in the way they wanted to go. Other than that, it was just go around talking to people and then driving around the city. It was just like Grand Theft Auto 4 or whatever. It was like me and my nephew played Grand Theft Auto 4 when it first came out. And we're all freaking out because oh my god, this open world's humongous. But in reality, the game itself had very little gaming because everything was very entrenched in cutscenes, and it just sometimes it bothers me, sometimes it doesn't. Like I didn't mind the last Gears of War had a lot of cutscenes, but I didn't mind it because it actually enhanced the story and enhanced the gameplay. Whereas a lot of them, it's just they put all the what should be gameplay in form of cutscenes. I don't know, it's more very it's something whether either you like it or you don't. You know what I mean? It would seem like I would like things I like stories, but I don't know. I guess if I want to watch a movie, I'd watch a movie.
Yeah. But more games. What else are you looking forward to?
So they're redoing Hitman in a video game. So I think that's going to come out around the same time they're going to redo the Hitman movie.
Okay, but it's not going to be like a redo of the original one, just with better graphics, like what they do with like Halo or something, right? It's going to be like
I don't know,
revamp, reboot kind of thing.
I don't know if because I know the movie they're actually redoing it. It's like a complete reboot. It's like a new guy because the original guy who did the movie, what was his name? Some guy who plays Rayland in Justified.
Nope. Don't know.
He also played he played the villain in the fourth Die Hard. Timothy Oliphant. That's his name.
Okay.
Anyways, I don't know. Okay, so I'm not into. I don't know. It's gonna be more. So I'm looking forward to seeing what because usually around WWDC we see a lot of upcoming
games
for like mobile OSs and stuff like that.
Yeah, but keep in mind that GDC and what was it, E3 is just around the corner too. Like it's
right.
Close.
And last year those conferences were a little disappointing, mainly because they were previewing things that were still.
Well, like The Last Guardian has been in trailers for the last 6 years, I think, something like that.
Right.
It's something ridiculous. So.
I know. I mean, for those people who are into it, I know they're doing another Assassin's Creed game.
What country now do they have?
I don't know. I was playing after the first one. I didn't care for the first one. I don't know. What's surprising, you would think that with Hollywood's fascination with like superhero movies, we're not seeing a lot of superhero games. You know what I mean?
Know that making video games based on movies is never a good thing, right? Like that very rarely is a success.
Yeah, I mean, but they're very rarely smart that way. It seems like a lot of studios would try it. Because obviously the Star Wars stuff works. So I mean,
no, but they didn't make a Star Wars video game though, right? The Battlefront game that came out had. No connection to the movie, like the storyline.
Right, no, that's what I'm saying is I'm surprised there aren't more games like that. You know what I mean? Like an Avengers video game that has nothing to do with the movie, but has like its own story and stuff like that. I mean, it'd be hard because you have multiple characters or whatever. I don't know. I was just a little surprised like they didn't have more than that.
You could play like Batman versus Superman. You could play the civilians dodging concrete and not dying.
Right. All right. Let's move on to movies. I have a lot more to say about movies.
Okay. So movies, lots of good stuff to talk about. Lots of great things. I mean, it was just weird. Even walking over back to my office today, just like 10 minutes ago, I actually looked up and I saw a billboard, and it's like a big billboard screen, and it's like a jumbotron, right? And I forgot that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie is coming out, and man, that trailer looks super Michael Bay. Like lots of explosions. I know sewers could explode, but they have Rocksteady and Bebop, the rhinoceros and the warthog guys, back in action. Looks. I was surprised that movie was coming. I thought it was coming out later, but apparently you can't keep bad franchises down.
Oh no, it comes out. Let's see what the release date here. Why does IMDb refuse to make this stuff easy to find? I don't understand, people. It's not that hard. Release date is June 3rd. Okay, there we go.
Real soon, man.
Yeah, it's like next month.
Wow. But anyways, I don't know. I'm more excited about like the stuff. Like I haven't had a chance to see the Civil War movie that just came out last weekend. And then like at the end of this month, I got to see the other Marvel movie, the X-Men Apocalypse movie. And then like there's the Star Trek movie down later on. Am I missing anything that's something in between? Probably.
There's time. I mean, okay, so like the Ghostbuster movies, the reboot
Wait,
comes out
already?
The next Jason Bourne movie comes out.
Wait, the Ghostbuster movie hasn't come out yet?
No. I know. I'm looking at the list and it says 2016. I don't have the exit. I have to go to another film in order to go to the.
I don't know. It feels like that movie came out and no one watched it. That's all.
July 15th.
Wow.
Well, they're all. Isn't this one where they're all like females now?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I thought. Like, it might have came out and no one really cared. No, not because it's female, but like they made a big deal out of it, and like it was like, yeah, who cares, right?
All right, so I'm looking forward to the next. All right, so I know you don't like Jason Bourne films, but I actually really like the three that had Matt Damon in them, and he's actually coming back now because the one that had Jeremy Renner in it was absolutely terrible. I mean, it was god awful. Like spent the first 25, 30 minutes of the film of him just running through the jungle for no apparent reason. I mean, it was really bad. So this one that comes out at the end of the year is actually from the original director with the original actors and actresses in it. So that should be really good.
I don't know. I'm just big on the superhero movies still. Bourne is one thing. I never really got into that franchise, and I find that I'm not sure how much you have to know going in to watch these movies to really appreciate them. Because I watched the Jeremy Renner one, and I didn't watch, aside from the first one, the first Matt Damon one. I kind of fell asleep to the other ones. But the Renner Bourne movie, I didn't really care much for it. It was just like an action movie, but there was no story that made sense to me.
Yeah, it was bad.
But like the superhero movies though, like even with the Civil War and all the other stuff, even though they're all kind of contiguous, like in that you have to that there's a continuous story, they on their own can stand, right? And I mean, I'm not saying they're great epic works, but like I mean, you can just pick up any movie without having to watch from like the first. I don't know, what was the first Marvel movie? Probably Iron Man. Probably
the first successful one. I think in
the Marvel.
I think the original. All right, so I think the Hulk came out first.
No, the Hulk was not, because they kept on rebooting it, right? Like it was like.
Oh, all right. So
Ed Norton, no, really? Ed Norton's Hulk counts as, because the Hulk, because the Hulk is the other guy now, right?
Yeah, but all right, so.
He doesn't count, so Ed Norton doesn't count, right? So no, because it's all based on the continuity with the man's Tony Stark. All
right, so if you're talking about the arc that has all the same actors and actresses in it now, then Iron Man probably is the first one.
So what I'm saying is that you can watch any of those movies by themselves. Like even if you watch the crappy Captain America, Winter Soldier, right? You have to know 6 movies prior to that something happened, right? But you don't. You can just watch it and just enjoy, right? I found that Jason Bourne movies and all these other kind of franchises, like even Harry Potter, man, like it's for kids, and there's such a big amount of knowledge you have to know to really pick up on it that it's hard. I'm the most diehard Star Wars fan, but even watching the Star Wars movies, I think that you'd have to kind of understand a little bit more about Star Wars than just regular pop culture to get all of the stuff.
And yet they filmed them out of order.
What?
Sorry, I just had to get my episode sanctioned smashing of
Yeah, and that's fine. Like, I mean, I'm calling a spade, but like, I mean, I think that the Bourne franchise and a bunch of other franchises is really difficult to pick up on if you don't have some background. But again, going back to superhero movies, don't forget Suicide Squad, right? That did you see the trailer?
And Doctor Strange.
That's the summer.
Yeah, 2016. Obviously the next year's Justice League Part 1.
Yeah.
The Flash is actually 2 years from now. I don't know why that's on this list. And if you're into that kind of thing, they're remaking the Power Rangers movie.
Oh, I heard about that. Yeah.
Okay, so no matter what, it won't be as good as the original because it won't have the pink Power Ranger, who I had like a major crush on when I was like 10.
Okay, I think that pink Power Ranger is the only one that's still alive. I think everyone else like either died, committed suicide, or something, right? I think.
I don't know. I didn't actually follow their careers. What's funny is
it was the Power Ranger curse or something. They're like, yeah, man, like the Yellow Ranger, for example, she got in a car accident like when she was like mid-20s. The Blue Ranger, he came out and I think something happened to him. The Black Ranger, well, I don't know. But yeah, like, and then I think the Green Ranger had like a drug problem. Like, it was just tragedy after tragedy.
Interesting. So yeah, they're doing another Thor movie. Guardians of the Galaxy comes out in next year.
Really?
Wonder Woman next year. They're doing a sequel to Now You See Me, which is.
Actually, the commercial for that looks good.
Did you see the original?
No, that's the thing. I saw the sequel and I was like, hey, maybe I should actually watch. It was one of those things where you watch the trailer and you're like, maybe I should actually watch the original. All
right, so it was pretty good. I mean, so you have to like that kind of movie. It's not fantastic acting, but it's one of those movies where the story is just kind of, it's pretty good, bordering on mediocre, but it's one of those things where you have to kind of think of who's really the villain in the movie, because it turns out that I mean, it'd be interesting if you watch that. Maybe we'll have to put that on the list and actually to watch all three of us, because they the villain in the movie is very surprising at the end to see if you can figure out who the hell the person behind it is. Say it again.
The Morgan Freeman?
No, it's not. Definitely not. Well, okay, so kinda. But
let me put it this way: the trailer for the sequel, because I watched that in the theaters, right? The trailer for that movie, it's very evident that Morgan Freeman's like, you thought you got me last time, I got you this time, now you're mine. And it's like, okay, so I guess that Morgan Freeman, who was in the last movie, was a bad guy.
Right, all right. So what's interesting about it is there are several bad guys, and I don't really give it all away, but so like it's a revenge story is basically what it is, but you don't know it's a revenge story until the end. And so you don't know. So the person who's getting revenge, I mean, he's a main character. He's there through the whole thing, but you really don't understand it's him pulling the strings through the whole thing. So it's really fascinating. I've always been kind of had I've always been interested in that, magic kind of stuff anyways, but it's really interesting. I always watched the David Copperfield specials or whatever when I was a kid, so whatever happened to him?
Yeah, I know.
So let's see, they're doing a Beauty and the Beast movie next year.
Oh yeah, and that's with the Harry Potter girl, because my daughter wants to see that.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. All right, so they're doing a Baywatch movie. Yay!
I don't believe that. I still can't get over that, man.
They're doing a sequel to the Johnny Depp's Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, actually, I saw a commercial for that too. I'm really surprised. They just want to make money.
Despised the first one. I think he just does those movies because he likes dressing up in women's clothing.
I tend to agree.
So I mean, that's just my. They're doing another Jack Reacher movie. Fantastic! I love the first one.
They're keeping him. They're keeping him alive, man. They're keeping him alive. Sorry, they're keeping him alive with all those movies. Scientology must be really working well for him.
Well, all right. So I don't care about Tom Cruise. The actual movie was the first movie was very good. It didn't have a very good ending.
Okay.
But I really liked the first one. I like the books. Maybe it's just because I like the books. Obviously, they're doing a new one, Independence Day, that comes out this year.
Did you see? Okay, so they've done all this viral marketing thing, and they found a way to like make what's his name, Will Smith's character die. Like, because Will Smith didn't renew the contract to do that movie, so the trailers, the viral marketing ads are all of this is how Will Smith dies.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. I mean, all right, so that doesn't seem like a movie that you can really do a sequel of, 15 years later or whatever it is. I mean, that came out like what? The original came out in like 1996. So that's like 20 years later.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies where, so if you look at other franchises where they came out with a sequel or another movie like, years and years later,
Mm-hmm.
they don't usually do as well because, those things are very generational.
Yeah.
So, you have to come up with some kind of, reboots do okay, but when you're trying to come up with an actual sequel, because you have to have drawn people who actually like the original film. And I like the original film. I watch it every Independence Day. It's okay. It's about the only time I watch it. So they're doing another X-Men movie that comes out in this year. The Predator sequel's coming out in
Oh, that's gonna be cool. I look forward to. I actually like that. So
that's 2018. That's still 2 years away. Okay, so let's see. Oh, that's interesting. Have you read some? You said you don't care for Stephen King books, right?
he has good premises, but he has terrible conclusions.
Yeah, his endings. He's a lot like John Grisham. In terms of conclusions, because neither one of them can write an ending at all. But they're doing a Dark Tower movie. All of his movies are terrible.
Ever, dude.
Yeah, all of his movies. I know they're also remaking It. Did you see that?
Way.
Yeah. Okay, so the original one was god awful. So let's make it again.
No. Tim Curry was a good Pennywise, but I think again, they changed in the interest of making the movie. They changed a lot of things. And I just really don't like Stephen King
The book.
Like the book, because I like to have some sense of like why, and maybe I'm just like one of those guys like to be spoiled and like but I like to know what the fuck is that. Like at one point it's like an interdimensional alien. Like, dude, that is so. Come on, give me something better than that. Like, at least with Pet Sematary, it's like, yeah, it's an Indian burial ground, and like, it's just anything you bury in there, it becomes zombified, right? So sure,
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go with that. But just randomly going interdimensional aliens, and it just decides to take on this creepy clown visage. Not so much, man.
Yeah. Turns out to be a spider at the end. Spoiler alert. Hey, all right. So we're way over time.
Okay.
If you look at it, it's like 10 after 10. We always do this every time we
Yeah.
We didn't get anywhere through the list. It doesn't matter. Obviously, Star Wars is another movie coming out at the end of the year.
Oh, Rogue One. Yep, but that's like December, dude.
Yeah, it's like a whole year away. It's like, who can wait that long?
I can't.
God.
The trailer's got pretty damn badass, man. You gotta admit, you watched that. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I haven't seen the one from last year yet, and probably won't. All right, anyway, so we're going to skip picks of the week this week. Next week, we're going to do the Punisher Max. We're way over time, so we're going to end real quick. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can do so. I'm at MTWB. Ricky, who's not here, is Rick_Williams1. Vince is VWHUI, who tweets more than anybody else on the show, which is interesting. You can follow us the podcast at Untitled Podcast, and you can also like us on Facebook at facebook.com/The Untitled Show. We will be back next week with the Punisher Max comic book extravaganza. It was kind of terrible.
Rinse and repeat, man.
Anyways, see you guys next week.
Take care, guys.